Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5. It's cool, bro. Men's mental health and issues. I want to welcome, if you're on camera, if you're not on camera, Joey D. We have Ray J here and Kyle O'Bray on the line. Kyle, can you hear?
I'll get sued.
Yes, sir.
Call me Ray J. I'll get sued.
Ray J. Welcome, everybody. First things first, I need to point out our new friendly sign here for the ones that are viewing on YouTube. We are not doctors. Once again, this is a safe space for men to kind of chat about stuff. We are not doctors. We'll never claim to be doctors. I don't think I look like a doctor in this shirt, but maybe a chiropractor on vacation or something. Or what's the foot one? Yep. What's a foot doctor called?
Foot doctor?
Yeah.
Free?
Oh, foot doctor. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Lo and behold, today is our dad episode. Today is our fatherhood episode. All of us on the line or on video are fathers. We're going to talk a little bit about how mental health affects us, our kids, our relationships, so on and so forth. So before we get into that, though, let's do a little recap of the past week and any kind of issues that have happened, and kind of how you went about overcoming them. So actually, Kyle, I want to start with you if that's possible.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. It's been a crazy busy few weeks. Obviously, we've talked about in the past, like a lot of work stuff going on. I'm exploring, my current job, new opportunities. I think it was last Wednesday, I got out of work, hit the bunker, hit some golf balls by myself. Just needed some alone time to think and kind of decompress. Picked my daughter up. Next morning, we get on a flight. We go down to Dallas, Texas to visit my grandparents, my daughter's great-grandparents, obviously. And got to see my family down there. Saw a lot of cowboy stuff, Ray. It was kind of gross.
Gross.
Right? Like, it's everywhere, which is like, shout out to them for, like, loving them through the ups and downs, right? I think there's a message to be had in that. It was, like, some really, really long overdue family time.
Yeah, good.
It was great. And just came back this week. Back to some of the nonsense where fighting through work stuff, but 2 interviews, and I have no kid today for the first time in a long time. So Britt and I have been we stayed up late last night and ate snacks and vegged out on TV today so far. So we're really enjoying it.
Do you know that's actually my plan for tonight? Demi and I don't have any children, so it is snack time basically.
Yeah, put a good movie on, like catch up. Like we were having breakfast this morning talking about like life, and we were like, this is crazy.
Yeah. Or we don't have anything else going on, right?
Yeah, no, and it's like one of the first times in a long time that it's actually been planned. We knew about it.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't like a couple days beforehand. So like we've been practicing, prepping. To be honest, we went bowling last night with her sister and our brother-in-law, and I got beat pretty bad. So that's all the details I'm going to give you. But it's I'm not what I used to be athletically for sure.
All because of bowling, right?
Wow. Yeah, no.
Awesome. Well, Kyle, we hope you had a good time, and I'm sure we'll dive into that a little bit later here. Let's go to Ray. Ray, talk to me. You actually weren't here last week.
No, I was not.
So, and I think we shot the week 2 weeks ago, right?
I
think we shot.
Was it?
Yeah. Because me and you were. Yeah. So you've had a little bit of span here. So talk to us. What's going on? What's new? Any new mental issues you had to fight or cope with?
Yeah, this past week has been a rough week. I still haven't figured out how to cope with it.
Okay.
So I'm still like going through it. Hopefully I get out of it.
Yeah.
Soon, because it's not a good place to be. Like,
are you? And I'm sorry to interrupt you. Are you like? Are you down? Are you? Do you not have any emotions? Like, talk to us about what's actually you're feeling.
Just some things that happened in my personal life.
Okay.
I don't wish to share right now, but
yeah.
Just trying to get out of the funk. Like 2 nights a week I shoot in a pool league, so I was there this past Thursday, Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So like I got out of, I got out to clear my head a little bit. Got to do what I like to do. My son's starting flag football next week.
Woo!
So that's gonna be,
flag football.
There we go.
Yeah,
flag
football. That's going to be very interesting.
Nice.
So I'm happy about that. Happy to get him into the sport I grew up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
now you You said you played pool a couple
Yep.
days.
Yep.
From what I gathered from that is that pool is kind of like a safe spot for you,
Oh, it
right?
definitely is. Yes. Because you're at the pool table. You're by yourself, and you're thinking of how to make this shot. So it's not like you're thinking of anything else that's going through your head or anything. So yeah, that pool is definitely a safe space. I'd recommend it to anyone, even if you suck at it. Like, try it. It's fun.
That's like golf. You weren't that good at the bunker.
Oh no, and I'll never be that.
I'm pretty sure he outdrove me for something. I suck.
I mean, I outdrove Kyle too until later on you hit it 2 yards further. But
it's in question, right, Kyle?
Yeah, records are meant to be broken. I feel
like. Joe, I want to turn to you. Obviously, we talked a little bit last week about you were in a car accident, unfortunately. Yeah. Has anything came out of that, or has anything changed in your life the past week?
No, everything good. They got my car back. So the other guy's insurance, they can have full 100% fault, so that's good. So Beautiful. That solves that problem. No, other than that, doing good. Just trying to go and look for other jobs. Doing that. Yeah. But other than that, it's been a good week. And nothing crazy.
Yeah. Good. Well, I mean, that's good when we can come here and there's good stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, for myself, I'm definitely battling some emotions and some demons here. Mine are more directed to my family and interactions, but also I am currently on anxiety meds. I think I've mentioned that in a show. Thinking about trying to get them upped because I always feel a little bit more on edge recently. I do believe I have some form of ADHD as well because I've noticed I can't do things without.
You tested for that?
Not yet. So I have anxiety. Diagnosed
anxiety. Get
ready
for the questionnaire. I told you the first time.
Yeah.
They give you 30 different questions.
I'd
rather go to somebody and sit with them. That's my recommendation for you. If you were to just tell me to let her come in and sit, not have them mail in a fucking.
Yeah.
He's not a doctor, but
I know he's a doctor. Nobody's a doctor.
I'm just saying I went through it. I read just my recommendation.
Yes.
Like I said.
Yeah.
I didn't get my PhD
yet. Somebody actually noticed about the way that I was fidgeting stuff and when I'm on camera. So I'm actually trying to hold this pen as tight as humanly possible right now. As I'm turning it because I can't stop. So I actually have a fidget toy that I completely forgot. But so just fighting some personal stuff. My emotions are a little wacky. So I'm really trying to stay calm and kind of just process things as they go. Was able to play a little flag football last night, which is kind of my escape, and hopefully Aiden's escape one day if he has to. Really good news, my daughter got invited to she does little flippers gymnastics. Mm-hmm. It's just a base level thing, but we actually got an email that she is invited to their competition team. Oh, wow. They thought that she was that good in little flippers.
Wow.
So that was a big high for me because as a dad, you want your kids to do something great, right? So
especially as something that they like to do.
Exactly. So getting into our first topic here, we're on the fatherhood train today. What does it mean to be a dad? That's our first question here. What does it mean to be a dad? What does it mean for you? Joe, I'm going to start with you on what fatherhood looks like for you.
So what I think fatherhood is and what it means to be a dad, it's I think obviously we talked about it before, responsibility, being that responsible person, whether it's provide for your family, make sure everything's going good for either, your son or your wife and everything. I think a lot of pressure is put on men and women too, but men be a provider and kind of, and it's tough because I believe, when my kid was born, it was, I'm thinking, it was going to be tough. Then you're like, wow, this is really a little crazy.
So is tougher for you than you imagine it to be being a dad?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Just because, you sometimes, obviously, I know the kid would cry overnight. But it's a lot.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's just wow. Then you go to the hospital because you don't know what's going on. And it's just wow.
Does anybody, I'm sorry to cut you off, John. We're going to come back to you. Kyle, I'll go with you first. Do you feel the same way that your expectations or your thought of being a dad prior to being a dad were that they weren't right?
I don't know if I would say they weren't right. I mean, they become, obviously, once that child is here in your life, that it becomes very realistic. But I agree with Joe in the aspect that, like, the first time you hold that baby or the first time you hear it cry, you're like, wow, like it's really real. And I think Joe talked about, like, I think Joe said responsibility. It's like, we're responsible for everything, right? Like, I feel like we're responsible to be present in our children's lives, right? Like, when they wake up in the morning, we're responsible. I feel that I'm responsible to protect, but I'm also responsible to empower and teach, right? And I talk a lot about being a girl dad. I don't have a son yet. And I hope someday I'll have that blessing, so I get it from both sides. But it's surreal some days. I'm on job interviews last week, and they're like, "What's your favorite thing to do?" And I was like, "Be a dad."
Yeah.
And the guy giving the interview, like, popped his head in the camera. He's like, "Excuse me?" He's like, everything in the whole world. He's like, "I golf." I go, "Me too, dude." But, like, being a dad first and foremost is my favorite thing to do. So, it's a huge responsibility, but it's one of those badges you wear with, like, honor.
Yeah, I totally agree. Ray, moving to you. Do you think that what you thought being a dad is similar than what it actually is, or is it totally different?
That's hard because, like, growing up, I didn't have a father, so it's like, who do I look up to see what a dad's supposed to be like?
Yeah.
So, like, before, like, you have, like, that expectation of, like, yeah, you're supposed to be responsible. You're supposed to be that person that they look up to and to follow, to go to for anything. So, and then now being a dad now, it's like, okay, yeah, I see that, like, the responsibilities, like, being the role model, being someone that they can run to be protected. It's definitely not what I expected.
Yeah,
it's definitely a lot of work.
Yes, a lot of work. Yeah, and I'm gonna agree there. Being a dad is definitely not what I expected at all. My father was around, but to me, he didn't exude the fatherhood. Like, he didn't exude being a father. I don't remember any of those father-son moments or anything like that. So I'm similar to you in the fact that I didn't really know what to do. Right? You don't know what to expect in that category. When I had my daughter, I'm like, oh my God, like, you're right. This is, like, totally different. Like, one thing for me, and I know parents will agree with this, whining is like, whining drives me up a wall. Like, I just tell me what's wrong. Eat your SpaghettiOs, whatever it is. Whining kills me. But I understand where it comes from. So for me, I definitely wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting the fatherhood aspect for one, and I sure wasn't expecting number two, because number two is I don't know if you're ready for that, Kyle. That's a whole different animal there, brother.
But you came into number two knowing what to do, though.
For sure. But someday I hope to get there. But man, I have my low key anxieties about it sometimes.
Yeah, and you're right, because I did know what to expect, but I guess I didn't know what the time commitment was, because one time commitment's way different than two time commitment. Yeah.
Okay, Bill, real quick, if I could, I just want to, like, set my thought off what you just said. Packing the suitcases to travel last week, right? And I've talked about how wonderful my fiance is and how she's overprepared, but, like, up late, like, making holidays happen, making trips happen, making sure all these things, like, that's the part I think of parenthood I was not ready for. Yeah, because you and Bray just said time commitment and how like it's crazy to sit up until 2:00 in the morning and make sure Christmas is what you hope you want your kids to have.
Right? Yeah, for Santa, right?
Right.
Because of Santa.
Sure.
Kyle.
What I'm saying to you is that the coordination with Santa Claus is a huge deal.
Thank you.
When you are given that, like, the Easter Bunny sent me a text last week, and I'm like, hey, listen, like, we got to get back to you, so that kind of stuff was really what you just hit my nerve on.
Yes. No, and that's went to vacation to Cape Cod last year, and packing for children is totally different than, like, you're just like, okay, do I need the hatch? Do I need the water bottles? How many diapers do I bring? We're going for 2 days. I'll bring 37 pairs of underwear for my daughter, because you never know. Toys, yes, everything. So I wanted to go back to you, Joe. What is the hardest part about being a father for you?
I think the hardest part is that, like I said before, is when for my son when he's crying, and then you're like, what do you want? You're trying to figure out. He's pointing, and he's still crying. He's still, that I think that's the toughest part because at his age, you can't really tell him. He can't tell you what's wrong. I mean, he can start to verbally, but not like fully have full conversations. So I think that's the toughest, like to understand what's going on in his mind or stuff. What do I do to calm down? You'll try to give him one thing and then he's just still crying.
Is he talking yet?
Yeah, not like full, but he'll try to say a word, but not like full sentences.
Do you feel better that he's talking a little bit?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I feel that's better. But there's still a struggle with, understanding what goes on in his head sometimes, like what is good, he's crying, but like I still don't. Yeah. As a father, I don't know, like you get to a point like, all right, he's still crying. I've done this, changed the diaper, done this. I don't know what else to do. Yeah. So I think that's a struggle. It might be a struggle for other people too, but I think that's a big one.
I definitely think that was it is and was for me one of the hardest parts about fatherhood is understanding what that means to them, right? Like I understand what to be as a father, but from my kids' eyes, what does a dad look like? And we're never going to know that, right? We're never going to be able to ask those deep conversations. But by putting yourself in a different perspective, what do they need from you, right? And you're right. When my son is just talking, like he's just talking, so he's starting to say words and sentences. So it's a little bit easier for me to understand. But there's some things where he just cries, and we don't know, right? Yeah. So from their perspective, what should their father do to own this situation? So I would kind of piggyback with you, Joe, and say the hardest thing for me is not knowing what to do when. Yeah. Definitely a lot easier with the second one, right? Because I'm like, oh my daughter didn't do this. Like my daughter, when she was coughing, it was nothing, right? It's a lot easier. But the fear of the unknown being a dad is very scary. Oh, yeah, and if you don't have a father figure in your life or somebody to teach you, hey, do this in this situation. Hey, do this. And honestly, most of us are not going to ask for help because you're a new dad. Like, you'd be silly to ask for help in your head. Like, there's that pride thing, right? So, I definitely agree. That's probably one of the hardest things there. Yeah. Ray, what about you? Hardest thing about being a dad?
Also, trying not to fail as a father.
Okay,
that's a hard one.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Like, I don't want him to grow up thinking that I was never there, or when like in my mind and like heart I know I was there. Okay. I just don't want him to grow up being that, oh, I don't like my dad type thing, or feeling like he can't come to me when he's older. Yeah. I want that father-son bond as he gets older, like as time goes on. Like I don't want, and I feel like I do see most people with their fathers, like they just fall off. Like, and then like in my mind, like, well, that man failed him as a father because like they just fell off. Like the father didn't keep that connection.
So what are you doing to keep your connection with him to make sure he doesn't turn out like you're mentioning, or your relationship doesn't turn out?
Just by like doing things with him, like playing video games with him.
What's his favorite video game?
Fortnite.
Fortnite.
Yeah. Big on Fortnite.
You play Fortnite?
Yeah, I play that.
Every week, asking for V-Bucks.
What's V-Bucks?
It's just like Fortnite money.
Fortnite money. Okay. I have a daughter who asks for Barbies and makeup, so I don't know V-Bucks yet.
Oh, and Roblox. Roblox is
Roblox.
Yeah, that's
not there yet. I'm trying to get my son to watch Power Rangers. I want my kids to watch what I watched growing up. I mean, Rory has a Hannah Montana.
He watches Dragon Ball Z. So
okay, all right, that's a decent one right there. Kyle, want to go to you? What was the hardest part, or what is the hardest part about being a father so far?
Well, what day of the week is it? I feel like I go through a ton of different emotions, like we talked about. I think to give like a broad answer is like, and I've thought a lot about it lately. Is like, how does she see me?
Yeah.
Like what is she gonna remember of growing up? Like, are her needs met? Like, and yeah, she has a house to live in. She has not enough clothes and toys and food. And
I bet
she's healthy, that kind of stuff. But we had a small incident where like it eats at me, and I don't know why. I was in Texas, like I said, with family, and the older people, right? My cousins and I and my sister, we stayed out up a little bit later. And my dad and my grandparents took her 6 minutes down the road to get her ready, start getting her ready for bed a few minutes early. And as soon as I didn't get in the car, she breaks out into full sobbing, like out of nowhere. And she does know my grandparents. She knows my father very well.
Yeah.
He's done bedtime, but like in that instance, I was like trying to figure out like what was I do? What need was not being met for her right there?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, will that be like a trauma thing that she's gonna remember? Like, Daddy leaves me, like. And I went off into this whole tangent. My sister like grabbed me. She's like, chill out, bro. Like, she's good. And I was like, well, yeah. So like, I knew she was good. I would never put her any place that she's not safe.
Yeah.
That's one of the questions I ask her when we do things. I made her sit on like a few 1,000-pound bull while we were down there. That was a million times bigger than she was. She was, I'm not doing that. I go, would Daddy ever put you in a situation that's not safe? And she's like, nah, and climbs right up there. And I was like, whew, boy, I got her believing that one.
You bring up an excellent point, Kyle, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, is the fact that I have situations that run through my head all the time too, is like, are they going to remember this as me being a bad dad? Like dropping them off to like their grandmothers today. My daughter wanted a sleepover. My son was going, like, they wanted that, but then it's like, I feel some type of way because I'm not with them, you know? So like, what will that do? So I agree with you there.
Yeah, I would also say to you too, like I feel like you feel the need that I have is to constantly protect.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to move into the empowerment stage.
Yeah.
Where like I know she's capable. Like I knew she was fine. And most of her issues are probably my insecurities, is what I feel like.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, that's something I think about like twice a day, daily. So trying to get out of my own way to allow her to be who she's going to become.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I want to transition to the opposite factor of that, right? So the hardest part of being a dad. Now, Ray, I'll start with you. What's the easiest part? What's like the best part about being a dad?
The best part, probably that run to you and hug when they see you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Or that phone call, like, hey, Dad.
Yep.
That's probably the easiest and probably
that call for the V-Bucks or whatever.
It turns into that.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, I love you. Can I have V-Bucks?
It definitely turns into that. But yeah, those moments.
Yeah.
Just seeing them smile, seeing them happy. Yeah. That's probably the best part.
Yeah. I would say honestly the easiest part about being a dad is just loving my kids, right? Like I was not blessed with the love that I give, if that makes sense. Like I wasn't blessed as a kid with the love that I give to my kids. Yeah. And my daughter said something to me, and it was probably like 2-3 months ago, but she said, Dad, you're the best dad in the world. And honestly, anybody can say that, right? But to think about the perspective from a 5-year-old, like she literally means she thinks I'm the best thing that's ever happened to her. Like, because she doesn't know any different. So to know your kids think of you as the best dad, the best father, whatever it is, best stepdad, whatever your dynamic is, they mean that. And to me, that fills my heart with joy to know that in her eyes, I'm the best, right? And it's only her opinion and my son's opinion that matters in that situation. Joe, going to you, easiest part of being a dad.
Yeah, I mean, like, him just saying his words, saying Dad all the time, getting up, smiling,
feels good,
coming to you all the time. I go, that's a good thing as a father to see that about your son. He's just always wanting, That's what I love. Is just the joy, the smile he brings on him, and just watching him every day grow, and just that's a win in me.
Yeah,
that's a win.
That's definitely a win there. Kyle, easiest part about being a dad.
Oh, you guys hit on it. Hit the nail on the head. Easy. Like when Ray said it, I started to get like emotional. Like when they run to you and they like, Dad, and like you're just so happy to see you.
Yeah.
Like picking her up from school on Fridays, man. Like that's just stuff that like I won't forget. So like that's like those are some of the memories I hope she keeps too.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's those memories will last in your mind forever. I feel
forever,
like from when they're 1 to 2 till they're an adult. There,
until it turns into, hey, Dad, pick me up down the street.
Yeah, don't drop me off at the school.
Don't drop me off in front.
So couple easy questions I gave about fatherhood. So as you guys know, the show goes now. It's time to dive into a little bit more of some deeper rooted issues here. So, one thing I wanted to talk about is mental health in parenting and not losing yourself as a father, right? So as an example, I sometimes do not know who I am as a person, like who I am as Billy, because I'm dad, right? Like I'm always dad. My switch is always on dad. So that does affect my mental health. It affects my mental health a lot. So knowing that I wake up and my kids are in bed, knowing that I wake up and my day starts with them getting breakfast, like everything revolves around being a dad. So where does my time come in? And that's the reason why I'm thinking about the reason why I'm thinking about getting my meds looked at, just so I don't feel that jumpy type of feeling. I'm talking with my hands now. I'm noticing it. But I did lose who I was for a while because I'm so caught up with being a dad. And I think that there has to be a happy medium between the two, or you're gonna lose yourself, right? Because yes, our kids are our life, and they should be. Like deadbeat dads should be a thing of the past. Like if you don't love your seed, don't do it. Don't perform the act if you're not willing to ride or die for your kid.
Yeah.
And like I'll say that till the wheels fall off. Like the love I have for my children, I can never see anybody not wanting that same love for their kids. Yeah. And it hurts, right? Because you've been in this situation, I've been in this situation. I'm not sure about you and Joe or Kyle and Joe, but where you just don't feel that, you don't feel that father love or father affection. So it almost like beats on me daily that I have to show them love and affection. I have to, because that's what I believe a dad is. But I cope working out, playing football. Obviously, marijuana is my drug of choice. Mary Jane, yeah. But I really think you have to avoid losing yourself, right? So Joe, I want to touch on start on you. So what has being a father done to your mental health? Good, bad, and different? And what do you do to kind of like take that breath and still be Joe?
I guess a little bit both. It's good and bad. I'd say like the bad, like I said before about, not when he's crying and stuff, not knowing what he wants. So it's kind of like sometimes it gets over him. But I'll take a step.
So what does that do to you? What does that do to your head when he's constantly crying?
I guess it kind of winds it up a little bit. Not in anger, but just more just like
frustration.
What's going on? Frustration.
Yeah.
So that's why I'll just take a breath, have my wife handle it, and I'll step back and get back into the situation. I think that's tough for me sometimes, is understanding, why what he's doing is doing, but he can't talk, so I don't know what's going on. And if you tried everything you did, what else can you do? And I get to that point, it's like I did everything I could.
What happens when you get to your tipping point?
Well, like I said, I just step away, or just just kind of like I don't go over the top, get angry or go crazy. So I just kind of step away and just keep calm. Okay.
So your coping is removing yourself from said situation.
Yeah.
Do you think that has any effect on the father-child relationship? And I don't know. I'm just asking you.
I don't think so, because it's not like I leave the house. I'll just go and just kind of let my wife calm down, and then I'll just give me a few minutes and I'll come back and try to help out. I just need to kind of recoup, myself. That's what I do to.
Before I touch on you, Ray, in that same situation, the tipping point for me is kind of, I'm like, I need to cool down, I need to walk away. But I have like a pride factor. I'm like, there's no way that I can let these kids like end this situation with both of us upset. Yeah. Right. So it's, to me, I have to like immediately go back or try something. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it's just my daughter and I are too frustrated to deal with each other. Right. So I can see where you're coming from. Me just can't separate Billy from father. I have to go back and make sure my kids are all right. Ray, same type of thing. What does fatherhood do to your mental health, and how do you stay equipped to not like lose who Ray is?
So I can't say like it's been like a negative effect. Like but like there is certain times where like I do feel like he's like going overboard, and I had to like snap him out of it.
Yeah.
So I'll walk away, then come back and like explain everything to him. But
so your tipping point is also walking away.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Definitely. Yeah.
Would he still be upset, or is the walk away at a point where both of you just need to cool?
No, it's where we both need to cool, and then I come back and make sure, let him explain everything to him, and let him tell me what his problems are.
Yeah.
But like in my situation, it's a lot different than yours because you're around your kids.
So yeah.
I only have my son half the time of the week, so it's like I wouldn't say I lose myself because I do get time to myself. Where you're you're with them
rock and roll all the time. Yep.
Yeah. So it's a lot easier for me probably because I still get to be Ray.
Yeah.
But
do you see yourself? Do you see tendencies from yourself in your son?
Oh,
like when you guys get into arguments or whatnot?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
How do you deal with that?
I don't even. I just look at him and just like. There's like no dealing with it really, like, and that's why I walk away.
Okay.
Because it's like, all right, that's something I did. That's something I know I did as a kid.
Yep.
And my mother would probably say the same thing. So it's like.
So do you punish? Do you punish for things that you might have did?
And
then how do you punish?
Yeah. But not like a harsh punishment.
Yeah.
I'll take the phone away. I'll take the games.
He's got a phone.
Yeah.
Good for him. How was
10?
10. When did you get your first phone?
It's 2024, Billy.
Kyle, when did you get your first phone?
I was just trying to think when you said that. I think I had the Virgin Mobile slide-up joint. They used to put the minutes on. We had to buy the cards at Walmart.
The little prepaid.
I had
I want to say like 15 maybe.
Singular 14? Wireless, bro. I had a phone that was like a block, kind of like Nokia. That thing was on 100% forever. This guy got an iPhone?
Yeah. It's 2024.
That don't mean nothing. He's 10 years old. Whatever. We'll debate in the comments about...
It was either keep letting him use mine or get on his own.
An iPad, maybe?
That's probably better.
But it's easier to carry a phone around like when we go somewhere.
My boy's just out here with the iPhone 15. And
he calls his friends, FaceTimes his friends, play video games with them.
You know, well, you knock on their door.
Because they live... separate.
Don't bring that to
when I was 10, I was riding my bike to my
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But 10 now, no. No, you'll see my mugshot on the news or something.
What was that, Kyle?
Could you imagine the outrage if you had to mistreat your child like that nowadays? Like, hey, you have to ride your bike to your friend's house. that was how we functioned in life in general.
How dare they? How dare they make us ride the bike?
Right. Ma, can you drop me off? No, ride your bike.
Ride your bike, yeah. Right. That's how you knew where everybody was. All the bikes were out front. Yeah. If you lived in a neighborhood where your bikes wouldn't get stolen. Yeah. Well, I digress. Kyle, how do you keep Kyle versus father, and how is being a dad affecting your mental health?
I've been sitting here thinking about this, but I've also been really like listening to you guys too, right? Yeah. So I think Kyle, when I look at myself, I think I like to have fun. I like to be active.
Yeah.
Much like Ray, I do get a break during the week. Like right now, like I said, she's not here, so we kind of have some freedoms to do what we want. So that's the times like we get to game, we get to binge watch TV, we get to eat a frozen pizza and not have to worry about providing her a good meal. You know what I mean? Like, so trying to do things, relationship wise, trying to do things for myself.
Yeah.
And then, I think being a dad just has kind of come naturally at this point. Like I don't feel like I have to work super hard at it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Like with the years, like as they go on,
yeah,
it definitely becomes easier.
Just giving out frozen pizza to your kid. Yeah. You can't get us.
You don't even heat it up. Right?
Yeah, you don't do anything. You're just frozen.
No. What I'm saying is like tonight, we might do that. Like we don't have to worry about having like a 5. Like she gets a 5-course meal. Like breakfast on Saturday and Sundays.
Yeah.
Is like scrambled eggs and like bacon, sausage, like whatever she wants. Like fruit, there. Like it's this huge spread. And then like I think this morning I had a scrambled egg and toast. Right. Like just,
I'm sure.
Like so like for her. Like it's like this grandiose thing. Where like for us or myself, like it's just very minimal. So like I think that's the difference where like dad comes in. Like I feel like we have to do that.
Yeah. Next thing I want to talk about is kind of a unique situation because we're kind of 2 and 2 here on how we have the dynamics of our kids' relationship. for Kyle and Ray, you guys have a co-parent.
Mm-hmm.
And for Joe and I, we have wives who can help us co-parent. So I want to talk a little bit about the relationship with, and I'm going to say for the lack of word, a partner. I'm going to say either it's a co-parent or it's a wife or whatever, a stepmom, however you want to do it. I'm going to say the word partner. So working with your partner, how do you feel as a dad working with your partner to raise your kids? Does that make sense? Kyle, I'm going to start with you.
This is a good question. So I have obviously a two-part. I have two. I have to manage. I have to manage my daughter via phone call, text, or in-person conversations with her mother.
Yep.
That, just being very frank, is not always the easiest thing to do.
Sure.
And again, it's not. I don't play the blame game. I'm just saying in general, it's difficult.
Hold on one second, Kyle. Before we continue, I want to premise this: we're not out to attack anybody, right? So I don't want anybody to pop on in the comments saying they feel some type of way. Other men have the dynamics that we have too, right? They have co-parents, they have stepmoms, stepdads, so on and so forth. We just want to get those feelings out and talk about it. All right, like I just wanted to set the stage. So Kyle, please continue. I apologize.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. So that can be difficult at times. I feel like there's people that have 10 times worse scenarios than I have. So I'm obviously thankful for that. But it's a growing process, to be honest. It's week to week. It's day by day. We just got to try and do the best we can. We do it for her. And then, like I said, and I have my fiance and I have worked really hard to communicate on that stuff.
Yeah.
And my daughter and her are besties, and they're hanging up on me most of the time. So I've been very blessed to have that in that aspect, but it does make it easier, or I'll say more effective also, when you have that partner to do it with.
Yeah. Joe, I want to turn to you. When you talk about working with your wife, what does that look like? Good, bad, indifferent, and for you, what is your parenting style compared to her parenting style?
Yeah, I'm more of just, with him, kind of like, not firm, but, she's more soft with him.
Okay.
Not saying, because he's a year and a half, but, I'm not always, most of the time give what he wants, but not all the time. Sometimes I can be firm. And I think that could be a battle sometimes because, one's parents in one way, one's, even if you are co-parenting or you're together, there's still that.
May I ask how your father was with you?
Very, very stern.
Okay, so you're mimicking.
Yeah, I would
that
say
pretty much.
Yeah, kind of. I try not to, but
okay. Well, why do you try not to?
Well, just I
did you not like that growing up?
We all can agree, if whoever if you like your fathers or not, but if you always want to do better than how you were raised.
Sure. Yeah.
So, not saying my father did was wrong. It was there's some things you could tweak, but I just feel like I'm not always stern by the phone. When I'm stern, it's like it's like, all right, it's not playtime, it's relax time.
Yeah.
It keeps going. It's like, all right, no. Hey.
And how do you work that out with your partner?
Well, like I said, I'll go at it first, then she'll go at it. So we're kind of just like mimicking off who is he going to respond to the most, So that's what it is, So you got two people trying to do their own thing on how to calm down. It's just at the end of the day, it's just hope one of it just.
Do you feel it's a power struggle sometimes?
No, because at the end of the day, I'd rather have, if I could do it quick or she could do it quick. If she could do it quicker than me, that's fantastic.
So efficiency is what.
Yeah, if she can calm down quicker and stop crying or anything quicker than I can, God bless,
Yeah.
But I think it's just like I said. At the end of the day, whether you're together or co-parenting, there's still going to be how you're going to do things.
Sure.
And another person's going to see that, and just that's where the communication comes in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Say, hey, we got to be firm. We got to do this. Bedtime's at 8, not 8:30.
Yeah.
Not 8:02. You know what I mean?
So do you and actually, Kyle, I forgot to ask you this question, so I'm going to look back to you. Joe, do you feel that what you were given in your past is what you're programmed to exude, or do you feel like you're trying to change that path?
I'm trying to change that. Like I said, there are a few things that I learned from my father that it's a good trait. My father was the same way. When I was a single father, he did everything on his own.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, good for him.
you know, I had the luxury of just, you know, being my wife, you know, and having that. So it's a little different. Because like I said, me growing up, it was just, you know, me and him, or when I was with my mom. So it's really, I kind of had that more mentality. Like when I was growing up with high school, college, I did everything on my own. I didn't ask for help.
Yeah.
So now, you know, it's tough for me to ask for help. Like in certain things, I feel like I want to do it on my own. You know, so when I go to my wife, you know, with certain things, I just won't do that, and I'll just try to do it on my own, which I shouldn't.
Does that benefit you?
No, probably not. But sometimes, I mean, it just depends. I
Sure.
mean, I'll be honest. A lot of people won't be, but
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
No,
Sometimes it don't benefit me, you know, because like I said, I'm a new parent. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing half the time. I mean, I'm in 1.5 years, but still, I don't care if you have 5 kids, 6 kids.
That's
you're
normal.
still every day's a challenge. You know what I mean? You know,
No, that's
you
normal.
because you know, till you know your daughter gets, you know, 5, 6, 7, where they're having full conversations, do things on their own, and you're like, all right, go to bed. You know, they can understand.
It's a lot harder.
You can't say it to a 1.5-year-old, go to bed. He's gonna look at you and just throw his shit.
What's that?
So
what's that mean? Yeah.
So I think the key is taken out of this is that whether you're together or not, there's still that struggle of, well, I don't want to say struggle, but like you're still going to do your things your way, and your wife's still going to do things your way, even though you're together. But how you say something, and I see sometimes like you'll say, "Oh no," and then your wife look at you like, "Oh, you gotta be nicer to him." You gotta be nicer to him. He's ass to bed, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, do you? And I guess. Do you?
And sometimes I'm reversed too. Like if she'd be like, "No," I'd go, "Well, have some fun with it." So there you go. I'd be like, stern on it. And the next day she'd be like, "Well, wait a minute, you're stern the other day. Now you're saying, well, I said, you know, because it's just I think
you have to be a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I mean, you know, because I understand he's a baby still, you know, so he doesn't understand what I'm telling him.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's different, you know. Now you get a 10-year-old, you know, so it's a little different, you know.
Well, this 10-year-old's texting on his phone.
Well, yeah. I mean, but buying V-Bucks, you know.
V-Bucks. No. Kyle, just looping back to you on a quick question. Do you see any of your father's tendencies in the way that you parent?
Oh God. So I'm going to start by saying that I try to parent to the best of my ability, and any of the things I didn't like when I was being brought up, I do make a conscious effort to not do some of those things. Last week around the entire family, my dad's running around handing out 14 cupcakes. Here's a cookie. Here's extra juice. Like, here's the stuff. And I looked at my daughter across the room and gave her the eyes, like, do not touch that.
Do not eat that cookie.
Right? Like, I even caved a little bit because everybody was there and they were doing it. But I was just like my dad would have never done that for us. Like, if we had dessert, like, that was like, we were thankful, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so I do make a conscious effort to do things differently. You know, and I try not to yell, but I also feel like I've been given the responsibility of being the disciplinary.
Yeah.
And for a lot of reasons I don't want to dive into right here. You know, I don't want to dive into really deep, but you know, like when you leave the house, you put yourself together, right? Like I make her do stuff like that. We have to brush your hair, right? You have to look a certain way.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't need to yell all the time, but there are some times where I do have to raise my voice and let her know, like, this is the second or third time we've talked about it. Like, I'm not going to do it again. And for that, my kid is the rule follower of all rule followers. Her teachers and the principal at school are like, yep, like she follows every rule, dude. And she's just a really great kid. So I've been, you know, fortunate and blessed with that. But I also think it does come. She does see that someplace.
Yeah. And I agree. And I'll talk when it's my turn, but I definitely felt some type of way on some of the things you were saying there. And I'll revisit them. Ray, I want to go to you. Give me a little bit of input on your situation here.
So, me and my son's mother were not together.
Okay.
So we co-parent. She's a great co-parent.
Good.
I'm very thankful to have her. We work together and everything, like, to make sure he has what he needs, make sure he's happy. In the beginning, it was hard. Definitely in the beginning, it was hard because like we're both two new parents, like, trying to figure it out. So it's like it was hard in the beginning, but as the years went by, it got easier and easier. Became best friends.
Oh, good. Now, do you see a difference in because you guys are separate, do you see a difference in your parenting style versus her parenting style?
A lot.
Does it?
He's a mama's boy.
He's a mama's boy. Okay.
He's a mama's boy. 100%.
What does that mean to you? What does that term "mama's boy" mean to you?
When daddy tells him to do something, he
runs. Okay.
You don't buy those $50, so go where you
Why do you think that is?
I don't. Probably because I'm more stern.
Okay. Stern's a big word tonight.
It is.
Yeah.
Probably because I'm more stern. She's more on the lenient side. Like.
Okay. Like, yo, you want V-Bucks? Here's my credit card, like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But yeah, I have a great co-parenting relationship with her.
Good. Do you see anything that you wish you've I wish I would have taught him this earlier, or I wish I would have done this with him earlier, as you're seeing him progress in his age? Maybe something that you necessarily didn't have?
Probably more so with the sports.
Okay.
Wise. Definitely with football. Like since he's been born, I always said I'm not gonna get into football. I don't know. It's just a different age of like.
Yeah.
It's not like
I hear you.
When we were young.
Yeah. No. But the technology has actually improved. So
I'm saying more so like the game. Like,
yes.
You don't see little kids out there running to the park playing pickup games.
No, not anymore. No.
Like that's how we got into football. We got into football playing street football.
Yeah. Yep.
Until the lights came on.
Until the lights, two-hand touch.
Two-hand touch, middle of the street. Watch out for cars.
Honestly, I'm gonna shout out Damo Henderson was the first person to introduce me to street football, and honestly, it was. He's horrible now, and I hope he watches this. He's horrible. He's old. He's got kids. He's old. But let me tell you, when he first showed up on the block, he was like the first person that introduced me to street football, and I thought he was like Michael Vick. I'm not gonna lie, but he sucks now. So, Damo, I'm giving you some love there, but you suck.
Hey, Bill.
Yes, sir.
Real quick question, if I could, just for Ray. Like he said, like he's got like a great co-parent. It's a great thing. Like I know his scenario, but like, is there any way he can elaborate for the people? Like, what makes that so great? Because I don't know that a lot of us feel like the word "great" is good. Or it's easy to say. I don't.
What makes it great is that we put his interests before ours. Like we
right. Yep.
We set aside our feelings for each other and made it about him. Like everything is about him.
Nice.
Do
you get disagreements though? Because if everything's about him, you might have a different viewpoint.
Yeah, no, we disagree, but then we talk it out. Like we don't argue, we don't fight. There's no hate or anything like that. Like
that's awesome.
Yeah, we put his interest first, and then that's how it became great. Like I said in the beginning, it was hard.
Yeah,
it was definitely hard.
I think
sharing time,
any new parents
and stuff like
is
that.
definitely hard,
especially like having to share time.
Like,
it was hard, but it got a lot better as the years went by.
Yeah. For me, I think the dynamic between Dem and I is pretty good. I mean, we definitely see things different from our growing up. I saw everything I didn't want to do. So I'm trying to start that. But I also, the discipline factor for me is like, unfortunately, I got disciplined bad. Like, it wasn't like yelling, screaming, everything under the sun, right? So there is times where I give my kid the look, or I raise my voice, and it's not always agreed with, right? But I, as a dad and the leader, whatever you want, the alpha, like I have to know when to check myself, and I think that's super hard when you're parenting, because you always, at least for me, and I don't know about you guys, I always just think my situation, I'm right. Like I'm like, no, the kid should do this because this is what happened to me, and I think it takes a man to like admit maybe this is not the right thing, and it sucks because as men we always just want to be right? So I think we have a good dynamic. I'm definitely the fun dad. I'm a little more lenient on certain things, but there is times where I'm like, okay, it's bedtime. Like it's 7:15 or 7:30 or 8 o'clock. Like let's go to bed. Like I'm done for the day. So I can definitely see there, but the dynamic it's nice because you bounce stuff off of each other there. Yeah. Anybody had anything to add on that? All right, we're gonna do two quick segments. We only have about 10 minutes left here. And what we just talked about there kind of goes into my next topic, generational trauma. Um, when you think about you as a dad and your kids, I want you to think back to your childhood. What did your childhood do to you to make you the dad that you are today? Good or bad? Okay? Joe, if you can, keep it clear and concise just for time. And let's start with you.
Yeah, I think growing up, my father was very hard on. He's very stern and yelling at me all the time. So I think that kind of put me in line a lot of things. So I was wild when I was young. I was wild, So
Yeah.
kind of.
So you got yelled at a lot, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So had to do great in school, and I was very just not like I feared my father, but you can have those fathers where they just got to give you that look.
Wait. You said you feared your father.
Well, no, not that I did. It's not that I didn't fear him.
Okay.
But there was still that, kind of like I was very, just had to be home at a certain time. So younger, had to do good in school.
Were there consequences associated with that?
No. It's not like you was going to kick my ass, but it was just, I didn't want to hear the yelling or that screaming and stuff. So
okay, so I think what you're saying is there was some kind of consequences. I'm not saying consequences that he hits you or anything like that. No. Like, please don't ever. I'm saying, like, you said if your work wasn't done or something like that, you were probably going to get yelled at.
Yeah.
So there was consequences.
Yeah,
right?
if you want to,
yeah. So do you feel like you yell?
No,
because
I don't. No, do I yell at my son? No, I get a little frustrated, but I would never, because when that happens, you think about your childhood when it's happening.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do. I'm not going to do that because like you say, he's a kid. He doesn't know what's going on.
Okay.
Now could it be different when he's a teenager?
So that's
obviously
great.
Your tone of voice is going to be different. It's kind of like you're now. When he was 4 years old, now he's 10.
I like him better when he was 4. Without a phone.
Challenge you.
Yeah, because then you can be like, dude, don't talk to me like that. I'm 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like now I can't talk to a 1-year-old. Say don't scream me like that. So I kind of have that mentality where I know when to control myself and not be like my father.
Yeah. So you had some trauma. Yeah, that you were worried about, like going home, like he's about to yell at me.
Yeah.
And you took that, and now you're like, I'm probably not going to yell at my kid.
Right.
Does that sound right?
Right.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Ray, let's go to you. What did you? Obviously, different situation, right? Like not a father figure in the house. Yeah. So, like, what did that do when you became a dad?
It actually, I feel like it's made me a better father.
Yeah.
Not having that father there makes you want to be a father that you want.
Yeah. Yep.
So I feel like that made me be a better father.
Don't
get me wrong. Like my mother obviously played the father figure as well.
Yeah.
Discipline, consequences, and stuff like that. But as a father, like not having one around definitely made you want to be who you wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I totally agree with that. I think that I do everything that I wished somebody would do. That's why I'm like always on the ground playing. I'm always like, yeah, what do you want to do? You want to do this? You want to paint? You want to that? And I think that's where I myself lose who I am.
Yeah.
Because like I don't even remember the last time like I just went out by myself and did something. Like not even like with friends or anything, but just myself because I'm so locked in to fatherhood and because as you just said, I don't want to go. I don't want to leave my kids because like I was left a little bit, and it felt bad. So like I don't want to do the same types of things. Yeah. So I definitely agree with you, Ray. Kyle, same question to you, my friend. How did your younger relationships affect you as a dad?
So when you guys were talking, again, I'm in deep thought. Those midterms being sent home used to, whether I was doing good or bad in school,
grades.
I would be afraid, right? Because I felt like even if it wasn't all A's, you were getting yelled at. I can recall at times like being belittled. I definitely have some like and I'm not going to say who. I'm just going to say that I said some things I wasn't supposed to say looking back, and I definitely had my ass whooped a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and we've all had it. Right?
Oh, we've all had it.
I don't know if I can hit my child. I don't know if I can. I also don't know if I would. Again, I have grabbed her by the arm and and not drug her, but like firmly removed her into another room for us to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Versus screaming at her in front of a room full of people during a holiday.
Yeah.
And saying, like, try again. Like, you're not going to talk to me that way. What is the problem, or what do you need, or what's like, and like, she'll take a deep breath and she'll tell me what's going on. And it's like, I take great pride in the fact that she's respectful and I get all those compliments and that kind of stuff. Like, I don't want to have to hit her. Like, that's not what I want. So dad is where I think it's making me a better dad. I have to be patient sometimes. It's teaching me patience to just communicate better.
Yeah. No, I actually agree heavily with that, because I think fathers have this stigma that, one, they don't take care of their kids. Honestly, when I take my kids alone to like Target or something, I get looks like, oh, what's he doing with the kid? Like stuff like that. Or at least I feel that way, right? Just because fathers are just looked at as a group that we're deadbeats, right? And that's just because we're paying for the sins of our past, because most of us, maybe not most of us, some of us grew up without that, right? So we pay for those type of sins there. As we round out today's show, I wanna just like send a message to the fathers out there. Like, what we're doing is talking about our experiences. Our experiences are not the same as your experiences, but we hope that you can collect a little bit from the words we said today, the actions that you see, and are able to apply it to your own kid. Because when you look, and honestly, when we grow up in this world and we're adults and we're grandparents, and what do you want your kid to do for you, right? Like, and I think having a child is such an amazing bond, and I hold being a dad so proudly in my heart there. While I round it out here, Kyle, I'm going to start with you. Any last words about fatherhood? Any suggestions you would give to other fathers on how to kind of to cope a little bit with the stress of actually being a dad, whether you're co-parenting, whether you have a family? Anything you like to say to people out there, Kyle?
Be patient with yourself, man.
Yeah.
I don't do a good job of that. I'm very hard on myself, and I think I get a lot of emotion from it. Like like I said, it's my favorite thing to do, even though I don't think I'm that great at it. But just be patient with yourself. Like, if you think about it, my daughter's 6. I'm 33. I've only known her 6 years of my life. Right?
Yeah, right.
We're still getting to know each other every day. So be patient with yourself. Continue to work on it. I feel like it's an art. So you're doing. If you don't know how you're doing, ask your kids, because they give you the honest and true feedback.
They sure do. They don't lie.
Right, for sure.
Joe, anything you'd like to say as a round out here for
like I said, like Kyle said, patient. You have to just be patient with everything. You just got to be understanding. Whether you have a 1, 4, 8, 10-year-old kid, that's what you have to do. You just got to just sit back and because you're both learning. You're learning from them, they're learning from you. So like I said, I think just being calm, collective, and take every situation. Every action, don't need a reaction.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good way. Yeah. Ray, how about yourself?
Fellas, just be there for them. Be present in their lives. It'll mean a lot to them, more than you know it. It's just being in their lives
is a gift in itself, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
To kind of round out here, fatherhood was a big topic for me. My situations growing up led me to go to therapy. That was my main cause of therapy. Yes, I went to therapy. Yes, I'm on anxiety medicine. Yes, I have all the same traumas as these guys and as people are watching too. Give yourself some grace. Being a dad's not easy. It's not easy at all. Like, you have to, you literally stop putting yourself first for everything, and now you're relying on your instincts and emotions to take care of a new life. So as Joe and Ray and Kyle mentioned, just be with them and give yourself a little bit of grace here. Fathers, if you guys need to talk, you want to talk, you need to get something off your chest, our inbox is always open. As you can see, we post stuff all the time of people coming to us, that just want to get something off their chest, feel free to always do that. YouTube, Spotify. This was episode 5 of It's Cool, Bro, our dad episode. Thank you so much for watching. Stay